Highs in the upper 70s, sunny skies throughout the day, highs in the 80s. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you with us. It is another beautiful day. It's very, very, well, in our neck of the woods, very cloudy. I know in many parts of the world it is just amazing. And of course, there's so much to talk about, especially with the weekend ahead of us. Much to see, much to talk about, and much to buy, especially around the corner. Many people are thinking, what should I get? What gift should I get for my family and or myself? Could I treat myself? After all, it's the end of the year and the beginning of a whole new year. Why not? And is it smart to buy is kind of the question of the day, which we'll be talking in just a minute. But first of all, I want to say hello to Jesse over there in the room, making sure things are clicking and streaming and making sure everything's quite powerfully rolling. Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Just a little sniffle, but I'm good. I do not have COVID, so no freaking out.
I know that, unfortunately, that's always the first question whenever you get a little bit of something, right? I know that was the question yesterday. I went to an event which was held by the Hispanic Public Relations Association, and a lot of people kind of joined together, and somebody from ABC7 was there as well, and we were talking off camera and away from the event, and just talking about this whole new and how there's a lot of information out there, and some of it's a little alarming, and some of it's a little backwards, and some of it you don't know what to think of it, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first up, it's that time, Tech Talk. Right, Jesse? I'm always excited for this. I know the last couple of times that we've had Joel on here, you've actually looked in some of the products. Is that right?
Yeah, you never know what he'll show up with, so I'm excited to see what items he'll bring in, because you know what? A lot of the stuff surprises me, and you never know what I might order. Like, I'll roll over in the middle of the night and be like, oh yeah, Joel talked about that. Click, 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 buy. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, dang it, I did a midnight buy.
Midnight buy. Thanks to Joel Prevo, Prevo Partners. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Good morning. It's good to be back. Hey, Aaron, I hear Jesse talking about it like I'm the new version of QVC for him, where he's making bad decisions, maybe good decisions in the middle of the night buying stuff.
Well, and again, that's the way it rolls, right? That's what we like, of course. You know, sometimes there are certain products that I never knew existed, and then all of a sudden you bring them up, and I go, that's pretty cool. I know some of our social media audience as well has bought some of the products as well. Okay, but I think there's one where you're going to talk about which some people might want to be very cautious on, and that's not like you, by the way, but what's going on with this product?
Yeah, so something to think about with any technologies, if you're ever, it's something that goes, it's a wearable or anything, be aware of how it's going to interact, not just functionally, but, for safety. So recently there's been some reports of the Galaxy Buds Pro, the new version, causing ear infections. And it was reported by Android Central. A reporter chronicled his whole debacle where he had this irritation in his ear, and then it turned into a full-blown infection. He ended up in the hospital with it. And then when he was healed up or recovered, he wasn't certain that it was related to the earbuds, so he put one earbud back in to start trying it again, and then within 45 minutes he started having irritation again, so he obviously stopped using them. Galaxy, they haven't come out, and Samsung hasn't recalled it or said anything that it's official. They just shared a statement that if you're experiencing irritation, just discontinue using them. But it's something to be aware of. I think just in general, anytime you're buying technology that goes on your body or you're using it, to pay attention to those things, as they do, they're made of materials that maybe you have an allergy to, or they could cause you issues. So something to be aware of. I'm not claiming to have any insider news. It's just a story I read, and then as I've kept up on it, there have been more reports continuing to come through of people reporting similar problems. So as you're out there shopping, it's just something to keep in mind. If you've had their products before, that probably will help you know if it's something to really be worried about. But there's something about the new pros that caused this individual to have a very bad reaction.
Actually looking up an article on that very thing. We always have to be careful where we get information from. Make sure we're not giving wrong information out there.
Right.
But I will say. It says, like any hearing aid, it's strongly recommended not to wear them for long periods of time, especially at high volume. But several of the users are now complaining about the risk of infection from wearing headphones high-end from the Korean giant. According to one testimony, which is the one that you're talking about, Chris Waddell, just wearing it for 20 minutes would have been enough to cause him to have a first itching sensation inside the ear canal. I will say this. There are certain people that are allergic to certain materials. I wonder if it's the material, the foam, or the product itself, right? Because then that would mean something else. And from what I understand, there are several cases emerging. So the question is this normal? Is this not normal? But if you have more than one person talking about it, that's a problem, right?
Right. And who knows? I can't speculate what is causing it by any means, but you're right. It could be any one of those things. It could be that these are, made from different materials than previous versions. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, people have all kinds of different allergies. People have nickel allergies and different things. So it could be any material that they're using that just happens to cause an issue for some people. Again, this isn't that everyone who's used them is having this problem. It's just a report, and it's something to be aware of. And as I said, it's just something to be aware of for any product that you're getting to pay attention to. Is you're changing your behavior, you're using a new product a different way, to be mindful of your health and safety as you're using it.
Well, it is interesting because these earbuds are expensive, right? And sometimes people don't think about the repercussions of certain things, but some people do. I remember one lady that always reminded me, she goes, well, then just take it back or get your money back or call the manufacturer, right? And I will say this, according to this article, for Samsung, they are aware of the situation. Some testimonies report that in addition to having reimbursed the headphones to dissatisfied customers, the brand would also have offered enough to pay for medical expenses. That's according to this one news article. It remains to be seen if the problem will persist or if Samsung will do the necessary by changing the materials. But I think that stands behind what a product should be. If a company does that, that's A, good, B, the way to get ahead of it, and C, the right thing to do in the end of it all, right? Because as a customer, you're hoping again, hey, will you take care of me or not, right?
Absolutely. Consumer confidence is going to be the key thing with any brand. They don't want to be considered the brand that doesn't take care of their customer when something doesn't go right or it's broken or it's causing problems. Samsung obviously is always going head to head with Apple, and the last thing they need, especially during this shopping season, is for people to think that their products aren't something to consider having on the shopping list. By all means, Samsung has outstanding products by and large, and that's why they're so competitive. So certainly not, if they're handling this the right way, like any company, including tech companies should, then, they can get through it and, do what's right, and certainly doesn't have to taint all their other products. This happens to a lot of companies. They're not alone. And how you manage it, how you respond, and how you fix it makes all the difference.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. There's one thing here that I'm looking at, and I'm interested to see what it means for people. And it's a clock for authors?
Yeah. So I don't know if you're a bookworm. I can't claim to be. My kids are definitely better readers than I am. But there's a really unique product if you're looking for something this year for someone who's an avid reader. And it's on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. They've already raised $1.3 million. There's two versions, and it's a clock that, as the time changes, instead of displaying the time like a normal clock, it will display a passage from from literature, from a book of some kind, that has the time in that passage. So when it turns 10:02, it will say, you know, at 10:02 or whatever, this happened. It'll be from a book, from a quote. And so every minute it changes to a new quote from a different book. And so I wouldn't know what I'm reading because I've no way read that many books. But for someone who's just an avid reader, it would be a very unique gift, and kind of amazing that they've found a passage to fit every minute of every day, and that the clock would change that way. It would be a really kind of interesting thing. So there's two versions. One, the smaller version is like set to be $129, and the larger one is $250. Again, super unique idea for someone who's maybe you have a librarian in your life, or someone who's just a really avid reader. Could be a really cool gift.
Sounds cool. Now, you have a cool product, and you always like this company, and I can see why. Wise. Are they wise about something else? What's going on there?
Yeah, this is actually a really low-tech product for them, but I thought it was really clever because sometimes we can talk about technology stuff, and it's all in the hundreds of dollars, right, to get these products. They're not often cheap, even though they do get more affordable as they're out on the market. But they have a simple smart nightlight, and it's just a simple nightlight that doesn't then need an outlet because it has a rechargeable battery that'll last like 3 months. So you just like take it off and recharge it. But you could stick this to the wall literally anywhere. And $20 will get you 3 of them. So it's not like the most expensive product out there. But you could put these down a hallway, maybe in a bathroom somewhere that would provide just enough light, or for your kid's room that just needs that little glow because maybe they're kind of afraid of the dark. But I always lean toward how could it even help? I worked in senior care for many years. How does it help seniors at home to have that, wake up in the middle of the night needing the bathroom and not having a super dark room, and you could have that light that leads the way to the bathroom or to the kitchen if they're getting up for a drink of water, so they're not flipping on lights or stumbling over something. They'll have that light, and it's an affordable way to put them anywhere. You're not bound by having an outlet in that spot to put a night light in. You could just stick it to the wall anywhere and manage it that way. So being that it's smart, you can schedule it to come on with evening or what have you, or you can even pair it with motion. So if there's motion, the light comes on, that type of thing. So really simple, affordable product that I thought was really versatile and attractive. It's a nice looking little nightlight. So kind of cool.
I have to say that that's probably one of the smartest things to buy for the family. I love the fact that it's motion enabled. I will say my mom always puts these little night lights on that look like, sometimes it looks a little creepy, I'm not gonna lie. And so I'm like, sometimes it looks cool, and sometimes it just doesn't. I'm like, but these are kind of cool because I like the one which is like next to the bed that you could kind of put, which is interesting because you could just put it there. So I guess it's all battery enabled so that when you step down, you know where you're stepping. I think this is great for seniors and just anybody that like might,
Right.
stumble and or fall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest, barriers to take down is just visibility for avoiding falls and that kind of thing. So, we all can wake up a little disoriented and forget that we left the laundry basket or whatever, and just having that little light come on to help save you could make all the difference. And as we know, as people age, falls are much more detrimental. So we want to, avoid that at all costs. So simple product, looks nice, and can make a big difference.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I know recently, I for those that know, I take care of my mom at our apartment as well. And one morning, I kind of, and it was late at night actually. It was like early morning. I looked down and I go, "Why is mom on the floor? That makes no sense." And I went and I was like, "What's going on?" And then she was snoring. I said, "Okay, I guess she's fine. That's weird." And so I just left her. I didn't want to wake her up, right? And I thought, because sometimes she moves from, the bed to the couch, because she's restless or whatever. Nope. The very next day she says, I think I fell. And I said,
Oh,
I am so sorry. I had no idea. I mean, you were snoring. You were on the floor. But it made sense why she didn't have a pillow. So I should have, woken her up and then some. My point is, like, I was so dumb in the head until she said, yeah, I think I remember kind of slowly falling onto the floor. I'm like, oh, God. She wasn't bruised or anything. But again, that's
good.
like, alert. Oh, no, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's
So
right.
any other tips for senior citizens? I will say this. Please bring them, okay, in the next couple of weeks, because we need to think more about our family members, right?
I'm full of them. I can give you lots of stuff when it comes to that arena. So I'd be happy to talk more about that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I got to figure out, because that's not the first time she's fallen, but to be unaware of it, I don't know how it happened. Anyway, okay, and now the last product is an interesting one. Whenever you have fire, you've always got my attention, especially if it's a safe device. What's going on there?
Yeah, so this isn't like technically a technology device, but it certainly took technology to design it. So it's not a new product, but they're really popular once people hear about them. It's the Solo Stove. They really hit the scene in the last couple of years in a big way for a way to have like a bonfire or a little fire pit. And with their design, they are smokeless essentially, even though you're burning wood in just a little wood fire. The way they're designed with their airflow, they really eliminate the smoke. And I can speak firsthand. We got one this year, and I was super impressed. I'd heard all the hype about them in the last year or two, and we have a fire pit in our yard that we use a lot. But certainly, depending on if there's a little light breeze at all, it can, the smoke is chasing you around the fire just like any campfire. In this case, the design allows like a secondary burn. It's hard to understand until you see it, but there's like that the way the airflow comes through before that smoke can come out, it's almost like it burns off again. And so essentially, as long as you follow their instructions and keep the wood below the certain line, there's a little line kind of at the top not to overfill it, it legitimately has very, very minimal smoke. So it's really cool to be able to hang out with people, and you don't get the clothes don't get all smoky, but yet they put off a lot of heat. They have several sizes, so they range anywhere from like the 200 on up price range. They're not super cheap, but they're really sturdy product, and they work really well, and they're simple. They have a little case if you want it, if you're someone who takes things camping, in the seasonally. Also, if you want, you can buy like a little cover for them so they can stay outside all the time. And we got one of those. So it's almost like a grill cover, essentially, that you just put over it. And then it's protected from all the elements so that it's stainless steel, but of course, anything over time with wear and everything could rust. So that protective cover is going to protect it when you're not putting it in use. But super impressive product in terms of its design and functional, depending on how many people you want. You can get the really big one. We got the middle-sized one, and I would say it's just really impressive how much heat you get off a little fire. And again, the key thing is you're not dealing with smoke, and you also don't have to, if you enjoy a wood fire, which I do, you don't have to get gas tanks and all that kind of thing, to do a propane fire or anything like that.
I love it already. How big is this again? Just like, give me perspective. Like, is it like 1 shoe foot? What, 3 shoe foot? What?
Yeah, I would say the one we have is probably 2.5 feet across.
Okay.
It's pretty good size. Yeah, so that's the middle-sized one. My brother bought the bigger one, and it's quite a bit bigger, but also depending on how much of a patio you have. I also got the little stand that you set it on, and in that case, you can put it directly on like a wooden deck, and it won't burn. The surface of that metal then cools. I didn't believe that. I thought I'm hesitant to do that. But I will say I tested it, and I put it on the little stand. It's a metal stand. And we had it on a plastic wicker tabletop outside, burned a fire for hours with our neighbors standing around to have kind of a safe gathering. And nothing on that table got even like hot, but yet we were getting the heat coming towards us warm. So kind of incredible design. I can't get over it in that the heat goes in the right places. And with the stand, if you don't have the stand, you can't do that. But if you get the little stand, it elevates it a few inches, and that stand then dissipates the heat, so you could have it safely on like a wooden surface or something when you're burning it. They also make sure to say, there's little rules that come with it, but don't put the cover on until it's completely cooled, because the covers, could melt or whatever, if it's not, the fire's not totally out. So kind of obvious maybe, but also just always fire, be safe. But the design of this when it's been used is really awesome.
All right. Well, very cool. Very neat stuff. I'm saying right here, right now, I can tell you there's a few people already searching and buying. We got quite a few people. Maria says, nice clock. Very cool gift idea for my mother. And then said Maria, she also says Samsung always has given great customer service indeed. And then another comment on this from Judy says, great ideas. And then Maria says, Lifeline in Canada is great for seniors. Detects falls and tracks my mother when she's out and about. Works all across Canada. And so I'm sure you'll have more ideas for us in the coming weeks ahead. And I want to say thank you. I know we've run out of time. I wanted to talk about electric vehicles, but I think that'll have to wait till next time.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Joel Prevost of Prevost Partners. Check him and his great other half, who always does the right thing. The other half of the Prevost Partners, they always do some really cool stuff. And I'm telling you, if you're a business and or a company that has product and or technology, you're definitely going to want to check out Prevost Partners and Tech Talk with Joel. All right, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Your health truly is the greatest gift. At U-Theory, quality of life is at the heart of every product we make. From farm to shelf, we travel the world to source the purest, most efficacious, and clinically studied ingredients to create science-backed supplements that support beauty, emotional, digestive, and physical well-being. All U-Theory products are manufactured at our Southern California facility, ensuring the highest quality standards every step of the way. As a family-owned company, we celebrate the power of human potential with a mission to inspire wellness in all. Try U-Theory Immune Plus Daily Wellness, 100% daily values of vitamin C, D3, and zinc. Go beyond the you of today and catch the you of tomorrow. U-Theory.
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers at 120 West Redlands Boulevard in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hemet, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now.
The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff in spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500, or go online at hiebanning.com.
Are you a self-published author that maybe underestimated the challenges of marketing your own book? I'm Suzanne Lynn, and we help authors sell more books through video interviews and radio advertising. You see, a professional video interview is really an author's secret weapon for marketing because it makes an emotional connection with your reader that can be posted to social media, YouTube, your book's landing page and website, your Amazon author page, and even sent to media to request interviews. We guarantee that video interview will be viewed by a minimum of 3,000 people in your target audience. And let's face it, no one can sell your book better than you speaking about it yourself. Plus, we can run commercials on our nationwide network of radio stations that targets your specific reading audience. Find out more at GiveMyBookWings.com. That's GiveMyBookWings.com. Again, GiveMyBookWings.com.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you here on this program. We are looking at your comments. Let's see. Judy watching from Walla Walla, Washington. And Mario says, I love when Joel comes on your show. We're glad that you enjoyed that as well. Jesse Sanchez over there. Any products that stood out to you?
Yeah, I kind of like the nightlights. I'm not gonna lie, I may have ran into a wall or two while waking up in the middle of the night. I'm glad I have no video footage of it. And yeah, I hit that door. I hit that wall hard.
Yeah,
I forgot where I was. I was like, whoops.
Yeah, well, I like it. It's got linkability, okay? You can link up to 10 Wise nightlights. When one nightlight turns on, all 10 will light up. That's kind of cool. So you could have like a whole cascade of like, if you have a staircase, to have a picture of one where it's up on the staircase, to light you so you can see all the stairs. That's smart. And then they have dusk to dawn motion sensors. They have a built-in light sensor so it turns on in dark environments. With a PIR motion sensor, the light will turn on only when motion is detected. And it's a nice soft light, so it's not blaring to the eye. So it's great for night light, hallways. I can tell you right now, there was a hallway that I used to live in. It was a little creepy at times. You're like, okay, turn on one light, turn on the other light, for the little one. But if you turn it on at the right time or put them at the base, it looks great. And I think it has an additional connection on the side of it as well. It's easily installed. They are battery powered. They have an internal lithium battery that can be recharged through their, there it is, USB-C port. So that's actually really good. And they include easy pull tape and metal mounting plate. That way you could just, put it right there and then take it off so it doesn't ruin the furniture and or whatever you're kind of clinging it to. So actually that's a really good idea, right, Jesse?
Yeah, it really is. I'll probably order a few because I think I have a few ideas where I could put those.
Yeah, and it's only 19. Sorry, it's only you could get a 3-pack. By the way, for $19.99, and that's really good. It says, or you could get more. They have a 30-day hassle-free returns as well. So that's really, really good. So $19.99 plus shipping. So I'm telling you, it makes for a great gift, and you're ahead of it with the family, especially with those that tend to go, oops, I stubbed my toe because I can't see where I'm walking, right? So I love it. I think it's a great idea. Why not?
The clock thing was pretty cool too. I kind of like that idea.
Did you?
I did. I thought it's pretty interesting, especially for people who love to read. Although, let me ask you this. How many times do you hit the snooze button on an alarm clock?
Oh, I'm not going to lie, man. I have been doing that more often than not, and I will say, sometimes I get a little message from Jesse going, are we doing a show? And I'm like, I'm barely waking up. Oh, my snooze button, I didn't hear. I hate that. So sometimes I do hit the snooze, but then I miss it entirely. Does that happen to you?
Oh, it does. That's why I usually set like 3 or 4 alarms within 2-minute intervals.
Yeah, that's smart.
I was like, what they should do is like, if you hit the snooze button once or twice, what it should do is it should deploy some type of like fart spray. So this way
Jesse,
you're bound to get up if you smell that.
No, you're not bound. You know what? Spray like a spritz on your face, like water. Like, oh, I'm up. I think that would make more sense, but I don't know about the one you're talking about. The fart spray. No, thank you. Yuck. Okay. Anyway, so there we go. We'll provide the links for you guys later. I know Mari's asking, how can I buy those? I need to buy them. We'll provide the link for you a little bit later. Okay, so interesting stuff in the news. Obviously, is in the news. I'm just going to call it because I have yet to find anybody that actually knows how to say it properly. Omicron, right? But the Omicron, actually, this is the latest news, and this is very alerting. I know I spoke to the reporter about this yesterday, which is what I was talking about earlier. The reality is people are, of course, getting sick even if you have the vaccination with the Omicron. And this is the latest update. Now, I do know, well, let me go to this first, and this is the latest. With several cases of the variant, And again, this is a mutation. Okay, this is a mutation on top of what coronavirus already is. And as people know, mutations can be a problem eventually. Now, I've already had several people, I kind of hear them speak, and they're like, oh yeah, how convenient is it that we have another virus? Yeah, right, I don't believe it. And I say, hold up, this is how viruses propagate. This is why we're in a pandemic, because it is a problem, and since it can go from human to animal to human to region to human to travel to human to region to travel, this is the way colds and flu viruses propagate as well. That's why we still don't have a full thing for a regular cold. So if you don't believe it exists, you have to know, even though your body can see certain viruses, it doesn't mean it's completely all of them. Now, this tends to be a very complicated version of the coronavirus. This isn't the normal standard COVID-19. In fact, I would imagine that at some point they're going to call this one COVID-22 or something like that at some point, because this is going to be a problem in the next, well, hopefully not for long. But here's the situation. With several cases of the variant, officials have learned that many of those infected are vaccinated against COVID-19. That's according to Dr. Rochelle Walensky. Many of the patients experiencing mild symptoms from Omicron are vaccinated, indicating that the current vaccines are hopefully fighting it off. But they're still new. These new cases are very, very, very brand new. So we just had alerted as of lately that there's one in LA. How many more people got sick in the meantime, though, with it, we don't know. Again, when they have a test for it, that's one thing. But if it doesn't stipulate exactly what strain it is, then you really don't know how many. These are confirmed one. Now, according to this, they're saying, and this is interesting, we have 90,000 new cases of COVID-19 every day, and about 99.9% of them continue to be Delta. So they're still talking about Delta. Now, the latest vaccine does prevent Delta as a strain. Delta Plus, though, is a whole other strain, and that's one that you do not want. But they are saying, again, still take precautions. This is why we're not out of the woods, although people were like, yay, we're out of it. We're not out of it. Hawaii is the latest state to confirm an case. They became the 5th state to detect the variant after confirming a case through expedited genomic sequencing. And that's what you have to go through. You have to go through genomic sequencing. An average test that just says you have the virus doesn't stipulate precisely which virus you have. You have to have more testing that goes through more stories. So the fact that they actually are related are actually, when it comes to the virus, not saying that they are related, because I'm reading another article as well. I don't want to get people confused. They're not related, but the LA County one, which happened, has a resident that recently traveled to South Africa. So that's not good news, right? So that means, and they returned via London. So they went to London. So think about all those places that they came from Africa, and that was on November 22nd. The infection, they feel, is most likely travel related. Now, I will say this. When they ask you where you've been, where you're going, what you're doing, when you do get these, it's not to make you feel bad. It's just to be able to track these things to see how they propagate in certain areas, and they help the World Health Organization, which actually tracks all these things, to be able to say, okay, how do we get ahead of it? How are people getting it? And in what way are they getting it? But even there, that person is still vaccinated, and they're still watching that person very closely. The other confirmed case here in California is in San Francisco, who also, guess what, recently traveled to South Africa. Okay, I know people are thinking, who travels to South Africa, right? But there are people that do it. Okay, there's business and there's things going on, and people got to, do exactly what they got to do around the world. That's called travel, and travel actually is one of the reasons people get sick, one of the reasons people get the flu, reasons people get, or you feel jet lag, right? There's also all sorts of things that people get on a said travel plane, right? And or bus, and or what other ways can you be all with a bunch of other people all in the same place, right, Jesse?
Let's see, if you're going to like a convention or an expo or something.
Yeah.
Concert.
Well, it's funny you say that. I think one, and I hate to say this, I don't want to say it because I don't want to make a comic convention sound bad, but it's just a matter of the amount of people that are in one given space, right? Which I think in New York, one was identified as one of the comic conventions, which over over here we have a comic convention coming up. So I will say this: if you go to any one of these events, make sure to practice again everything that we would normally do, especially with being amongst us. Okay, because there's a lot of information how this one is technically not a good one, and people already are suffering in Africa, and why this is a problem, and why they thankfully alerted us ahead of time rather than hiding it, as some countries have done in the past. We don't want it to be hidden. We want to say, okay, this is a new variant. What do we need to do ahead of it? What do we need to do to make sure we're safe? And that's it, okay? All right, I'm going to take a quick little break. We got more right after these messages. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more right after this, and comments next here on social media.
For all you truck and RV enthusiasts, TruckWorks right here in Banning is your one-stop shop for the best diesel performance and overall truck and RV needs. Whether you're towing, racing, off-road, or just cruising around town, TruckWorks specializes in truck and RV service, maintenance, repair, and performance upgrades for every light and medium-duty truck manufacturer. Bring it down to Terry and the guys at TruckWorks. Call 951-922-4776 or visit their website at mydieseldown.com today.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor. Go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
You've been charged with a crime, and now you're facing the loss of your freedom. Where do you turn to get out of jail or stay out of jail? The law offices of Wallen and Claridge. Call 877-4-NO-JAIL. With over 20 years experience and attorneys who work in your local courts, Wallen and Claridge can make the difference between jail and freedom. When you need help, make one call. Make it to Wallen and Claridge. 877-4-NO-JAIL. The call is free. Will you be?
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, you know, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate those comments and social media. Let's see. Shout out to Judy Munoz, who's always a very great individual who always supports us and makes sure that we always are on track with what we say, and always shares our video as well. We appreciate her spreading out the word. We thank you. Maria, who's in Canada. She says we won't be out of it for a while. People, I'm in Michigan. The COVID is getting bad again here. Again, she is on the front line, okay? I will say this. People that are on the front line, as a nurse, A, we appreciate more than anything, and B, we have to remember these things happen. So They are the ones that say, hey, I'm the one that has to see the end result. It's not pretty. And I can guarantee you get a bunch of nurses together, which they're all busy right now, seriously overworking time and trying to stay ahead of things. They're not just dealing with COVID. They're dealing with other problems that people have whenever they go into the hospital. And trust me, it's not easy. Stephanie Reeds says, hello, happy editing this glorious sunshine, awesomeness, busy day ahead for today. Who's tuning in from Ohio? Thank you very much. Melinda Monteverde, who's also in the local area of here. I want to say hello to her and, of course, her family. Also, Oscar, who is ready to give us some pretty good content around the corner. Super excited about that. Maria says, I don't understand how the cases are rising in USA. We come to work here, and I see tons of people without masks and all close together. Sigh. Yeah, again, I feel as though we've kind of gone through this, what I call, I don't want to think about it. I'm pretty sure we're ahead of it, and it feels like people are back to work syndrome, which is, yes, we're back to work, but we're dealing with this in the same way that we did last year. We are not out of the woods. Even with coronavirus, if people do get sick with it, hopefully they will be better than not. I know some people's math is off because as of late, I've kind of spoken to a couple of people and some are like, well, only 1%. No. You're not doing the math properly. It's about anywhere 5 to 8% likely to be dead in the next, year and a half based on the current numbers that have been over the last year and a half. That is a sad truth. The other sad truth is we've already lost a good amount of people. And although you don't see the amount of people each and every day, because I feel like the numbers kind of have been kind of away from us as of late, and nobody has actually, talked about it. We're going into bigger numbers again and again and again. Okay, so the death toll, which nobody talks about lately because we kept hitting a new one, we kept hitting a new one, and we kept hitting a new one, unfortunately are at a new high. And the problem with that is we have to be careful of saying, in essence, oh, it's not a thing, when in reality it is a thing, okay? Since this began, we know very unequivocally we're at least in the 780,000 range. That much we know. That's just here in the U.S. That are currently no longer living with us since last year. Then worldwide, the numbers are still coming in, and those numbers are very terrible as well. Now, having said that, as I've always said every single time when we're doing the show, is this: a good majority will get well from it, but as we discussed with James Randolph here on the show yesterday, he himself had problems up to 3 months later after getting it in December of 2020. So even if you do get it, even if you do get sick, and even if you do get well, some people will have to experience certain things after the case because it's that serious. Some are coming back with bad, big hospital bills because they do get well from it, but now that they've been helped in the medical field, thank goodness, now they have a huge debt to pay down if they don't have insurance. So if you don't have insurance and you're out of work and you're looking for work and you're wanting insurance, I say get the insurance now because you never know when you're going to need it. So you got to be careful on that. You got to make sure that you understand the truth from certain people that say, no, it's not a thing. Still, I go, I do not understand you. I'm sorry. But again, be careful along the way. Let's see. Algenia Kirsten says, yes, we love our nurses and caregivers. We have to be careful and have seen the rashes. It's not pretty. I'm wearing my gloves again and mask. I don't know what you're talking about, but rashes, that doesn't sound good, right, Jesse?
Yeah, no, anything with rashes is always a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Judy says, I'm babysitting my grandma, Bella, and had to stop watching for a minute so I can use my phone, TV, Roku, or TV Roku remote, I think. Yeah. So, oh, cool. Are you watching this via? Because I know some people watch this on their television devices via the Roku app or the YouTube app, which sits on the Roku app. Because I know my mom does that every now and then. So very good. Yeah, Mari says 132,000 new cases just yesterday in the U.S. of A. Canada is also growing with 3,243 yesterday. Yikes. And again, these are cases. Hopefully more people will be safe in the process of it all, and they will not need medical attention. But if you find that you have a heart palpitation, especially with this new which actually tends to exasperate the body, and or breathing conditions, that is a clear sign you need to get help immediately. So, okay, that's the number one thing, because these things do mask as cold symptoms more often than not always flu symptoms. That's kind of the latest news. So they're going to be all over the place. That's why I had my mom make sure that she got the flu shot separately from obviously the coronavirus shot. She got the shingle shot, which just in case, I don't think, or shingrix, I think is what they call it. And then she got the coronavirus shot. So I'm like, oh my God, all these shots. But you got to space them apart. If you put them all and cram them all together, it's not going to work for your body. You're going to be upset in your body. Your body's going to say, no, too much fluids inside me, too many different chemicals. Allow me to work with this, right? And that's how vaccination works. It kind of trains your body. It says, look for these certain things, be aware of it, and if so, know how to fight it, because it basically helps our body fight these viruses, right? But some of these viruses are so new, our body says, I don't know what that is, and unfortunately it can hurt us in the end. So not everybody is created the same. Some people are more healthy than not, but even if you are healthy, if you have certain immune deficiencies, these viruses really take a toll on you, which then puts you in a very high-risk category. And if you're in a high-risk category, you got to be careful, okay, people? Rosalie says this, who's tuning in from Downey, says, if you don't have insurance and you're in California, call Covered California, 1-800-300-1506. It's open enrollment. You can't get huge help to pay for coverage, or maybe it says, yeah. You could probably ask for me. I'm the only Rosalie. Okay. So, she works there. Okay, awesome. She says, hi, folks, by the way, joining you late. Yeah, no, but thank you for that information. Very important. Judy says, yes, I watch on my phone. I can clean, cook, and go from room to room and, drive. So, very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Judy. All right. Jesse, I know there's a lot going on this weekend. Any plans, anything that we should be ahead of, anything to watch maybe?
Ooh, good question. I'm still behind on some theaters or in some like movies that I want to watch, but I know I'm just excited for the new Spider-Man movie. So that's me. I'm like 2 weeks out. So I'm really excited for that one.
Okay, I'm excited for that too. Are you okay over there? It looks like you saw something you don't want to see.
No. I'm just looking at movies that are released in theater right now. I was not aware there was a new Resident Evil movie.
Oh yeah, there is. I know. I was shocked. I was at the movie theater I think last week, and I saw it and I go, there's another one? I didn't even see the previews to it. I was like, what's going on? What did I miss? Because I like Resident Evil. I mean, I don't want my mom to watch it. It's a little too, zombie-like. But who doesn't love a little, hiya, gonna kill you now?
Right. And right now, I'm kind of like, I don't know if the word is tripping or just like going crazy right now. But do you know how much property in the metaverse is going for?
Wait, what? No, I
Yes.
don't. What property? What are we talking about? Huh?
So apparently, do you know what the metaverse is? So whatever, like this, like virtual reality stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, real estate is available, and you can actually buy it. And apparently, there's some real estate that is already sold for millions of dollars.
Oh shoot! Do you remember?
No.
Made set this quick domain.
Maybe I honestly don't know. I just saw an article yesterday and I started reading about it. And I'm just like, are you serious? I'm like, so, and it's just like it kind of makes sense because in the future, I feel like we're gonna be in that movie, what, Ready Player One?
Yeah, definitely.
Where we're all hooked in and we all have like virtuals. I can't even afford real property. Never mind this virtual property that I can't even live in. So,
right? I know.
It's just crazy. It's like property is expensive out here in the real world, and now property is expensive in there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I will say this, and I kind of want to look at it because I have the Oculus, and I told my mom I need her to try it out. With all these things happening as it's happening, it's almost like, what will happen next, right? I'm gonna play this little video of what the capabilities are, but I think a lot of people are going to see this, and they're gonna be like, you know what, I need to get ahead of this because I want this, right? And there's all sorts of different ways you can do this virtually, and you could be part of anyone and everyone. People really, that is a whole other ball game because that is basically saying like digital storefronts. Can you have like maybe a digital storefront and then sell online in a space? Or if you say like, okay, you're going to spend time in this area, it's already pre-built for you. You can add it to your room. It's like a digital asset, which is interesting. Like I think, what do they call it? NFRs, NFPs? I can forget what they call them.
Oh, NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, those. So like, and I will say, although it sounds odd for like digital space, I will say there are ones. Yeah, I see one right here. I just pull that up really quick because I need to make sense of this, okay? Because there are communities that like in digital gaming, right? Like okay, Matrix Online. Remember that? And if you got so many levels, you can sell your avatar to somebody who wants to start off at that level and go beyond. They do this with certain other gaming as well. It's odd, but they do it, right? And so they kind of level up and then they sell it. So according to this, a 500 square meter plot of virtual real estate has sold for 2.43 million, breaking the record for the largest ever, I know, right? Metaverse land acquisition. Which again is digital, people. If it goes away, it goes away. But maybe it won't go away. Kind of like Ready Player One, that space is yours forever, right? Or the latest one, Free Guy. Did you watch that? That's a good show.
Yeah, I've watched Free Guy. Great movie. But yeah, no, I think this is just gonna be the future. Like we're starting small, but it's gonna work your way up. These properties will probably be worth even more in the future.
Yeah.
But I seen people that bought property, and what they're doing is they're setting, like, this guy, he's an artist, so he set up his own little art studio there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They
It's
say.
interesting.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm looking at this news.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's interesting. I can't wait to see what the future holds for everything.
Yeah, it says the purchase by the firm Metaverse Group is more than double the previous record for a sale of land or property within a virtual reality world. It follows announcements of Microsoft and Nike to focus on the metaverse, a computer simulated space in which people work, play, and interact as avatars. The Metaverse Group describes themselves as the world's first virtual real estate company and focuses on buying, developing, and selling real estate within the metaverse. Yikes! So I don't know. I think there's definitely information here that we need to figure out, and I think it's just basically a piece of land in the real estate land of the metaverse. Which, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It might be a way to, buy a little, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens.